This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network and the X-Zone Broadcast Network and our affiliates across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, Australia, Asia, India, Africa, and Europe. If you'd like to give us a call, our toll-free number is 1-800-610-7035. That is toll-free worldwide. Once again, at 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone at xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv at hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Brian Bignall, and he is an in-demand political consultant whose first book, The New Constitution, a Manifesto for Saving Our Country, will be published this coming May. He has spoken on national radio and TV shows throughout the United States, and he shared the stage with the who's who of politics. Considered to be one of the most respected and knowledgeable political experts in the world, Brian has a reputation for really delivering the goods and educating people on the latest and real political news. He has been directly responsible for educating millions on the smoke and mirrors game that is politics. He is best known for saying, "My job is not to get you to believe what I say. My job is to get you to think about what I say. Go out and do your own research and make your own conclusions." By day, Brian is a self-employed direct response marketer and real estate investor based out of Chicago, Illinois. Joining us now is Brian Bignall. Brian, welcome to the X-Zone.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Got to ask you, Brian, are there such a thing as secret societies, and are there puppeteers behind the political scene that we have yet to discover?
Yes, there definitely are secret societies. I don't like to phrase them as secret societies, though, because it kind of plays into the idea of the conspiracy theorists, that there's all these secret people out there doing all these secret things. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is there's plenty of groups on both sides of the spectrum, super liberal, super conservative, and, people that just want to control a bunch of other people. And the sad thing is that most of these quote-unquote secret societies are out in the open. You have things like the Bilderberg group, and you have the Trilateral Commission, right. And these are all, professionally sounding groups, that sound very official, but the fact is they're private groups, and membership is private. People are invited, people, the CEOs that run large corporations. So while there definitely are secret societies out there, they're not so secret is kind of the sad thing. People just don't know about them. They operate right out in the open. So,
Brian, is there really a shadow government, as so many people within and outside of the conspiracy realm believe there is?
It depends what I don't like to use the word shadow, because it plays in that conspiracy theorist thing. But there's definitely a group of people out there that would like what's called a one world government, where everything is controlled by a very, very small group of people. So it's not just the United States and their, Congress people. And, the idea is to get this one world government, this one world currency, all the power in the hands of very, very few people.
So can we say that the European Union was the test market for this new one world government?
Absolutely. I mean, and there's been rumors out there that that Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. are going to merge, and it's going to be called the North American Union, and they're going to have their currency as the Amero, and the European Union has their euro. Mm-hmm. But if you tell people this, they just look at you like you're funny and you should be in a straitjacket.
Brian, stand by. You and I have to take our 2-minute break. Brian Bignall is our special guest, X-Zone Nation. www.brian-bagnall.com. That's brian-bagnall.com. He's the author of The New Manifesto for Saving Our Country, which will be published this May in the year 2010. My name's Rob McConnell. Brian and I will be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break as we continue from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network and X-Zone Broadcast Network. Don't go away.
This is Kevin Randall. For nearly 30 years, I have been investigating the case of the Roswell UFO. I have interviewed hundreds of people and stood on the crash site. Now in Roswell in the 21st century, I have reviewed dozens of hours of audio and videotaped interviews, examined hundreds of files that relate to the crash, and have returned to Roswell in an attempt to put all that information into the proper perspective. For the first time in Roswell in the 21st century, I have made a dispassionate reevaluation of all that material and provide a new look at what happened. This is a book that clears away all the clutter that has hidden the truth for so long, strips away the various lies that surround the case, exposes the Air Force attempts at cover-up, and found a core of solid information that tells us all where the case stands today. Roswell in the 21st century will be available in just a few weeks. For more information, please visit my website at www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com.
Gibbs A. Williams, Ph.D., is a practicing psychoanalyst, supervisor, researcher, and author in New York City. Much of his life has been dedicated to understanding nature and the uses of meaningful coincidences or synchronicities. His radical and original non-Jungian, non-mystical, non-magical theory of synchronicities illuminates much of the fog surrounding this challenging and perplexing topic. His ideas and manners are fresh, presented in a style that is both entertaining and highly informative. He is also an expert on crisis intervention, specially focused on violence reduction for the police and citizens, mastering anxiety, frustration, and stress without the use of medication, and effectively preventing and treating heroin addiction. Dr. Williams can be contacted at his email address at gwwilliamsny11@aol.com or visit his website at www.drgibbswilliams.com.
Shamanism is recognized as a method to access the quantum level. Mastery of shamanic skills puts spiritual information and healing power into your hands. Path Home Shamanic Art School, a bonded Colorado certified occupational school, has met rigorous state standards ensuring its director and instructors have the qualifications to teach the shamanic arts. Path Home offers its certification program in blocks of study. Block 1, a 5-day intensive, will be held in the beautiful mountain town of Coaldale, Colorado, October 13th through 18th. Registration deadline is September 12th. Experience journey trance, power animals, helping spirits, sacred space, and life purpose. Come discover your power. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, in the magical world of shamanism. Call 303-775-3431 or visit findyourpathhome.com.
With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.mattstein.com. Welcome back, everyone. Brian Bignall is my special guest this hour. www.brian-bagnall.com. That's BRIAN hyphen or dash BAGNALL.com. He's the author of a new book that will be published this May, The New Manifesto for Saving Our Country. One of my producers asked me to ask you if the New World Order is the same as the shadow government that so many people talk about. I know that you don't like the term, but is that one and the same?
Yes. It's this idea of it has some good intentions. This New World Order is basically to confine control to the very few, but I mean, they do have some good ideas. Like, in the process of this, they would eliminate all nuclear weapons from all countries or unions, what have you. They do have some good peacemaking ideas, and they believe that they can only accomplish this not to be involved in wars and stuff by having this one world government where everybody's the same, everybody thinks the same, everyone has the same values and all that kind of stuff. So yes, to answer your question, they are definitely one and the same.
Is it possible? Like, I'm sorry, I can't see China, I can't see Japan going along with this. I certainly can't see Russia going along with it, but that's just my opinion. Is it plausible that a New World Order government, a one world government order, could actually come into play?
Yes, I do. It's going to take some time, but what the United States has done is, I mean, they've been the superpower for a very long time, and they're on a very steep decline. Maybe China will be the new superpower. I don't know how that'll play out, but what the United States has done is they've been involved in nation building. So if they don't like the leader of a country, they will have them assassinated, or they will, get them out of office in some way, shape, or form, and put their own, person in. If you look at Iraq, that's what they've done there. They put their own people in there, and there's been an election and all that kind of stuff. But it's kind of like here, the elections are they put two people up, that have the same ideas, the big picture ideas. They may differ on things like abortion or, healthcare or what have you. But, so they put their own people in there. So, Russia and China, they're not on the same page at this point, and this will take some time to do. I mean, the European Union took a while to set up, and I'd say sometime in the next 10 years they would have the North American Union set up, maybe even as soon as 5. I don't know.
Tell me, Brian, do you think the recession that we're in and the depression that we're in was actually planned?
Absolutely. These are very intelligent people that are in control of our financial markets, the Federal Reserve and the Treasury and all that kind of stuff. They know what they're doing. I mean, this has happened before, where you extend credit to everybody. And when it happens, no doubt there's going to be a contraction of credit. When you make the loans available to people that shouldn't have them, they're going to default on them. And the end result is, things are going to contract, foreclosures are going to happen. And basically what happens is it's a wealth shift. The main attack is on the middle class. If you've looked, at the past 40 years, it's been nothing but an attack on the middle class. It's kind of becoming either the very poor or the very, very rich. I mean, you drive down the street, and there's 4 or 5 foreclosures on one block. I mean, it's insane.
What does it mean today in the United States that the Canadian and the U.S. currency is at par compared to what it used to be 2-3 years ago?
Well, our currency isn't backed by anything, and a lot of people don't know that. We abandoned the gold standard in the 70s. So the only thing that determines the value of our dollar is the amount that's in circulation. And with all these bailouts and stuff, I mean, every dollar that's printed decreases the value of every dollar that's in yours and my pocket. So that's, I mean, if you back when the Federal Reserve started in 1913, to what we have now, the value of the dollar is 1% of what it was in 1913. And if you look at the price of gold, if our currency was attached to gold and actually meant something, gold has done nothing but shoot through the roof, since then, but you can't have unlimited spending if your money is backed by gold. You can't have these endless wars where billions and billions and trillions of dollars are spent. That's the problem. So,
So basically, this is a print-on-demand economy. You need more money, you just print it up.
Yes. And the weird thing is there's, the Federal Reserve is actually a private bank, and most countries have these private centralized banks, and they loan money to the government at interest. There's no need for that. And kind of the interesting thing is what we call the axis of evil, Iraq, Afghanistan, what have you. They did not have central banks before we went in there. Now Iraq has a central bank. They're in the process of setting up in Afghanistan. This central bank is very important to accomplish the one world government, because that takes all the power away from the people, all the wealth away from the people. When you control interest rates and when you control how much money is worth by how much you decide to print, that's a very, very, very powerful thing.
Tell me, what's your take on the terrorist attack of September the 11th, 2001?
Well, basically, I don't know if it was an inside job or not. What I do know is, there's a lot of people that died there, and I don't like to say, yeah, it was an inside job. It does kind of seem like an inside job to me, but, I think the important thing is the government would not answer some questions, a lot of questions, actually, about the attacks. Why Building 7 went down when it wasn't hit by a plane. And you talk to members of the 9/11 Commission, and they were denied access to information. If that's their job, they're supposed to, why are they being denied access to information? So regardless of whether it was an inside job or not, it's clear that some things, they were not forthcoming with it. And President Bush wouldn't go into Congress and testify under oath over the 9/11 attacks. There's just very fishy things that need to be delved into. But, bottom line, I don't know if it was, an inside job or not. But it seems like the only people that suffered from this attack, from the aftermath of this attack, are the American people. They lost a lot of civil liberties. When you're going to the airport now, you have to go through one of those, some airports have the biometric scanners. This doesn't harm the terrorists, and we're the only ones that got affected.
So once again, this seems like another step towards a one-world government.
True. Yes, this is. Yeah, when you create fear, if you look at things that Hitler did, and he was not a nice guy, but nobody could ever think that Hitler type things could happen in their own country. It doesn't matter what country they're in. Hitler made the people fear him. So a lot of people fear government. You look at the IRS, and you look at any government. Anytime you have something to do with the government, it's usually not in a good way. So. You go to the airport and you have to be strip searched, basically. It's scary to people.
Yeah. Mind you, people are not taking it sitting down or laying down anymore. Just look at a couple of, what was it, last month when the guy got so fed up with the IRS dogging him that he torched his house and flew his plane into their building?
Yeah, I read something a couple of years ago, and it was kind of interesting. And it said one of the final steps to at least to do with the U.S. and the North American Union, was that the whole idea of terrorism. We've been fighting this faceless, nameless enemy for, since these attacks. Yeah. In other countries, and we associate them with, being, people of a, Muslim descent and what have you. But this article a couple of years ago said, watch out for when the terrorism is turned on the American people, meaning, we walk down the street and it's no longer, that Muslim could be a terrorist guy. It's, anybody could be a terrorist, American person that was born here. And, so the whole idea of Americans, natural born, crashing planes into buildings is kind of scary, because that whole idea of terrorism can be turned right around on us. And we can go into like a lockdown society where, you don't know if your neighbor is planning to blow something up. And so I think it's kind of a dangerous thing. People are, there has been an uptick in people being involved in the Tea Parties, and, it's good. It's definitely good in a way.
I was saddened to learn that law enforcement agencies in the United States are now using the Patriot Act in their fight against gang wars.
Yeah, Yeah, it's a bad thing. I mean, that Patriot Act, it was all against American citizens, I mean, they can, if you're deemed a terrorist, you have no rights, so, as soon as it becomes commonplace for the guy next door to be deemed a terrorist, and they view anti-government people as terrorists, people that are against strong central government. I mean, they're viewing that as a form of terrorism. And when that, when you really see that term spread over, most of the American people, I mean, that's going to be the dangerous time where they're going to start taking away rights and taking away due process and you see martial law even, maybe, who knows,
Well, isn't the Patriot Act part of martial law? Isn't it stronger than martial laws?
Yes and no. I mean, there's things on both sides. Another scary thing is the Presidential Directive 51, which allows the president to declare, an act of emergency, which it's a broad sweeping power, and he can declare martial law. If something happens like Hurricane Katrina again. I mean, a lot of people don't know that people in Hurricane Katrina didn't have any rights. Their guns were confiscated. They were forced onto buses against their will and forced to leave their homes. And I mean, this is the kind of stuff. I mean, I think that was the real. And they also took away. I can't remember the name of the law escapes me right now, but there used to be a long-standing law that prevented U.S. troops from patrolling on U.S. soil. Yeah. And they removed. Do you remember the name of that? I can't.
I don't. We'll get somebody to check it out. But
Posse Comitatus.
That's it.
I think. Something like that.
You and I have to take, Brian, hold on. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Very interesting topic. Brian, thanks for joining us. Brian Bignall is our special guest. www.brian-bagnall.com.
It was a terrifying experience.
I thought we was going to go to jail for murder.
That day, we were a little behind, so we worked until it was starting to get dark.
We loaded up the equipment and hadn't driven very far when we caught glimmers of this glow coming through the trees. I urged Mike to hurry up and get up there.
Travis had the door open before we even stopped. As he got closer, I heard the sound.
One of the guys said, "You feel that?"
I really panicked then.
I told him, "Get the hell out of here."
It didn't come directly to me, it came to a deputy sheriff.
Three of us volunteered right away to tell him what had happened.
Sheriff Gillespie definitely didn't believe it.
He says that we better be certain because we can get in a lot of trouble.
When we went to search the next day, they split us up, and the whole time the deputies asked me, if you just tell us where the body is, we can all go home and get this over with.
We're talking about 100 people combing through the wooded area. Nothing turns up.
All week long, I've been hearing they're going to set it up to make you guys look guilty.
We're a rough-looking bunch then. Some of us have been in trouble with the law before.
And y'all ain't never going to come out of that jailhouse.
We couldn't get out.
I tried to sneak out the back door the day of the polygraph test. I was scared to death.
On top of that, you have media.
I literally would be on 2 telephones at the same time.
We've even got some coots in here now that's coming in and out to see the freak show, as they call it.
Everyone descends.
I just wasn't going to stand there and listen to it anymore.
Granny says, "This is Travis. I'm back. I need help."
When I did hear that he had been returned, it was almost as unbelievable as the original thing.
I just looked at my mom and says, "I told you we didn't kill him."
Travis Walton reappeared after several days with a bizarre story about a ride in an unidentified flying object.
People were desperate to explain it away.
Why are you sticking up with Travis for all this time? You know this really didn't happen.
What happened to Travis after we took off in that truck, I can't tell you.
I hated Travis for a long time after this. My whole world just tore up.
But I believe every word Travis said about it. He's never lied to me about nothing.
It's a net negative. We lost our jobs in the immediate aftermath.
And now you're not able to talk about it with anyone because you know that they're going to laugh at you, they're going to look at you like you're crazy.
But if you don't come out and tell your story, somebody else is going to tell it for you.
There's a degree of responsibility. Certainly I have to accept the bad. If I can direct what's happened in a way that I can make something good happen in the world, I'm looking for it.
Order your copy of Travis, The True Story of Travis Walton, today at www.traviswaltonthemovie.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
While science pursues fact, magic accesses the quantum level, bridging random facts to form truth. As long as science and magic remain separate and polarized, the truth cannot be known. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka. Join me on the Science of Magic radio program, dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. During each episode, I'll be speaking with experienced and respected scientists and mystics. From astrologers to astronomers, from medical doctors to shaman, the scientific method to dowsing and intuition, we'll weave together information from seemingly divergent practices to promote unity and enlightenment. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic right here on the Mutual Broadcast Network. For more information, visit www.thescienceofmagic.net.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network and on the all-new X-Zone Broadcast Network. Toll free, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Here are some of the stories the X-Zone newsroom is working on. The world's shortest man dies. Militant Jews order Bar Raffaelli not to marry Leonardo DiCaprio. Father places his 5-week-old infant in an oven. Catholic Church in Europe rocked by sex scandal abuse. Florida woman on week-long religious fast while locked in room dies. Sudden sniffing death syndrome kills teens. A 2-year-old boy gets trapped after climbing inside an arcade machine. Guess he wanted his quarterback. James Brown's body is stolen. That one there, who would steal James Brown's body? Oh, God. And here's something. If you're impotent, apparently impotence doubles the risk of heart attacks. And finally, a report is coming in from France where the CIA spiked the town's bread with LSD, causing mass insanity. The newsroom is following up that. We'll have more on those stories as the day goes on. Our special guest this hour is Brian Bignall, www.brian-bagnall.com. Speaking about stupidity, what can I say, Brian? When people crawl up into arcade machines and impotence causes heart problems and the CIA douses LSD in a town's bread supply. The world's going nuts.
Very true, but I'm the nutty one because I'm the conspiracy theorist.
You know what? I would have agreed with you 15 years ago that would have been conspiracy theorist. But now I call conspiracy theorists realists.
Yes, very true. 5 years ago, I would have agreed with me too. And that's, I had a friend who, when I got into this, I had a friend who just started telling me some things, and I thought he was off his rocker. I mean, he was a little older than me, and and he just kept harping on how things are so different and how things are not heading in a good direction. And I think the first thing that got me was the whole idea of the Federal Reserve Bank, and that's a centralized bank that is privately owned. And I started doing research, initially to debunk his idea, to go back and say, hey, you are not. But I couldn't do that, unfortunately, and then my journey just started from there. So.
Tell me, Brian, does it matter that we vote anymore? Do we really need to vote, since apparently the fix is in from the get-go?
A lot of people say, well, don't vote because, there's electronic voting and they control the votes. Mm-hmm. That's not really my issue. My issue starts with the media. It starts long before people even cast their vote in the voting booth. It's like two candidates are put up there. The elites, they're put. You look at Barack Obama. Yeah. Okay. He's from Illinois. I know him because he was, a junior senator here in Illinois. But if you weren't from Illinois, you didn't know anything about this guy. Nope. He had no reason to be the president, to run for president. I mean, he had no experience. He had nothing going for him. So it kind of makes you think, like, well, where did he come from? Why was he selected? A guy with no experience and nothing. So, I think it starts with the media before, people vote. They put these two guys up here, this Republican, this Democrat, and usually one from each party stands out right from the get-go. So the power elite don't really care which one of them wins. They have their little issues, and maybe it's education, or maybe it's this, but the civil liberties and the limited government. I mean, that's out the window with all candidates. So, I haven't voted in a while. Some people really give me some nonsense for that, but it's I don't know, something to debate, I guess. But that's my feeling.
All right, here's something that I'm pretty sure that you have some opinions on, and that's on the radio frequency ID chips. Do you think that they're being used more and more every day? And what's your idea about implanting humans with RFID tracking chips?
Well, it's very interesting. We've put them in animals for a long time now, mm-hmm. and they started putting them in cattle after the whole mad cow disease scare. And Good Morning America actually had on TV somebody being inserted with one of these RFID chips, as if it's this great thing. They're being promoted with people that wander away from, elderly people that wander away from their house. Maybe they have dementia or what have you. And they're kind of desensitizing the public to this idea. And there was a company in Texas, I can't remember the name of the company, but I guess it's no longer around, but they required their employees to get an RFID chip implanted in their arm because, it was a company that was that ran a very secure data facility. So, they didn't want people swapping, ID badges to get into the place. And so they made people get, implanted with these. So, and there's commercials out there, that are promoting, that are on regular TV promoting this for people with dementia, your elderly people, or, it'll keep their medications on there. And so they're really, a lot of the moving forward in this stuff is done by fear. Don't let your family member with dementia, go out without this chip in their arm. God forbid, they might not know their name when they, so it's going to start with the fear thing, but they've really started to desensitize people with that.
Well, it does have some positive uses, and if it was just to maintain the positive aspects of these uses, that would be one thing, but I personally believe there are a lot more sinister uses that we haven't even thought of yet.
Absolutely. The initial idea is always very good and seems wonderful, but and just watch that spread. Then it'll start to be, well, we'll put our money on here, and then nobody can steal your money anymore, and nobody can steal your identity, and but there are a lot of security risks with these things. They're using them in China. Some ID cards, even in the U.S., are implanted with these RFID chips, and they can track your movements and store all kinds of information. But they have these ID cards in China, and a police officer can sit about 60 feet away from you and point this little device at you and pull up all your information. But who's to say that you or I couldn't pull up somebody's information with a device, which is probably being sold on the black market? And the secondary thing is that this chip has been proven to cause cancer when inserted into humans, too. So that's another issue. So,
Brian Bignall is our special guest, X-Zone Nation. He has a new book coming out in May of this year, The New Manifesto for Saving Our Country. And, Brian, what is the new manifesto for saving our country?
It's a plan of what we need to do. It's a plan of action. It's also things that need to be added to our Constitution to kind of not change anything that's already there, but just add to it. Account for the advances in technology and thought too. So that's included in there. But it's basically a plan to try to reverse some of this stuff and take back our countries.
Is it too late, Brian? Can we take the country back?
Yeah, we can. The power always lied with the people. Maybe in the United States we have an elite of, that are kind of pulling the strings behind the scenes of a couple thousand people at most. You have that in a small city. We just need to do it. We need, people are very apathetic and, I can't do anything. Well, you can, and I think people may, because this economy is not done crashing, and we have not seen the bottom yet, and I think it's still a couple of years away. But, the more people, in my state, in Illinois here, they say 1 in 8 people is out of work. That's a huge number, it's not the numbers they're telling on TV, of course, but, I definitely think we can, but we all need to come together and, we can't be arguing about abortion or, any of this other stuff. We need to argue, we need to fight for the fact that we're human beings and we just want to be left alone. We don't want to be controlled by government. Let's work out all the other details later,
As someone who has real estate knowledge, how do you see the real estate market in the next little while? Is it going to get a lot worse?
It's going to get worse. I don't know about a lot worse. The thing is there's a whole other round of adjustable rate mortgages that haven't reset yet, that nobody's talking about. That makes me very weary. And you throw in the unemployment that keeps increasing, and the government benefits that are running out too. That's something nobody else talks about. I see it getting worse. I don't know how much worse, to be honest with you. I do see it a couple of years away. Usually the real estate market is the last thing to come back in a bad economy. Stock market will come back, and the real estate market is the last thing to come back. So, we'll see what happens, but it's a bit of ways.
In your opinion, what are the red flags we should be watching for in the near future to let us know it's going to start getting worse again?
Well, you keep an eye on the foreclosure rates. You keep an eye on real unemployment figures. I think going down the street and talking to your neighbors and finding out if people are getting jobs. I think those numbers are a lot more realistic than anything the media has to show you. See how much money they're printing. I mean, if this continues in this war and any more stimulus packages, and if they pass this health care bill. That's just going to be a huge drain. So, there's tons of red flags. Those are the main ones, though.
Do you think the president made too many promises, has put out too much money, and he's, he had the right idea, but he just didn't do it the right way?
Yeah, he's thrown good money after bad, and it's just. Yeah, it's not. A politician, that's the name of the game. Make a bunch of promises, that you can't keep, and then, we're all surprised when he doesn't keep them. The guy came up there like he was Christ himself. So, he couldn't possibly keep all those promises.
I remember talking to friends when all this the bailouts were happening, and I was just saying, why don't, for example, with the auto industry, let it fail. It's doomed to fail again. So why put more money into it? This gave the industry the perfect opportunity to say, all right, we have to rethink the auto industry. Let's go to alternative fuel. Let's find a solution, because if we can cut the dependency on fossil fuel, we can say goodbye to the conflicts we're having in the Middle East. Bring the boys home. But then if you bring the boys home, what are they going to do for jobs?
True. And there's no money in alternative fuels, and that's what that's about. And it's just, it's a sad situation. I think all troops should be brought home, but I did think about that. What do you do with them? Now they don't have jobs, and it's a bad situation. But we have to stop the bleeding. These stimulus packages and these bailouts, and people blame capitalism too. That's the first thing people go after is capital. It doesn't work. But we don't have this free open market. We have a market that's controlled from the Federal Reserve and the money supply and the credit and all that kind of stuff. So really you can bring a country to its knees by contracting its credit, just by doing that. Nothing else has to happen. You just contract the availability of credit, and it's all over. Especially in America, we rely so much on credit. People are buying their groceries with credit with, no idea how they're going to make the minimum payment next month. So it's the same thing.
Can you just imagine a group of Chinese businessmen coming over and saying, okay, we want the money you owe us now?
Yeah, I don't know what would happen.
Or how about everybody going to the bank and pulling out all their money?
Yeah, that would, and that's the thing, everybody says, well, their money is FDIC insured, but what they don't tell you is that they have 99 years to pay it back to you. Nobody really knows that. 99 years. So there really is no protection there. And everybody thinks the FDIC has money in this vault, that they keep. No, if everyone went to the bank to pull out their money, they just have to print all this money, and the currency would probably collapse, which may not be a bad thing. It would definitely hurt. But that's the thing with all these bailouts. They're just extending this period. If we just let the companies fail, we let the car companies fail, let whoever else fail. It would be painful, but it would be over a hell of a lot quicker, And I always ask people.
Brian, stand by, Brian. You and I have to take our final break. Brian Bignall is our special guest. www.brian-bignall.com. That's BAGNALL.com. Brian-Bagnall.com. And the name of his book is The New Constitution, a Manifesto to Fix Our Country. My name's Rob McConnell. This is The X Zone. We'll be back.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
Coming soon to the X-Zone Broadcast Network is A Different Perspective with me, Kevin Randall, as your host. We'll be taking a close look at what is happening in the world of UFOs today with side trips into the paranormal. Guests will range from those who are household names to those who have a different perspective on a variety of topics. No topic will be taboo, but there will be tough questions asked as we all search for the truth about UFOs, the paranormal, and those things that excite us. Sometimes we'll agree with a guest and sometimes we won't, but we'll try to keep the program topical. For those of you who would like to read, be sure to visit www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com and remember to listen to the other fine programs on the X-Zone Broadcast Network at www.xzbn.net. This is Kevin Randall. For nearly 30 years, I have been investigating the case of the Roswell UFO. I have interviewed hundreds of people and stood on the crash site. Now in Roswell in the 21st century, I have reviewed dozens of hours of audio and videotaped interviews, examined hundreds of files that relate to the crash, and have returned to Roswell in an attempt to put all that information into the proper perspective. For the first time in Roswell in the 21st century, I have made a dispassionate reevaluation of all that material and provide a new look at what happened. This is a book that clears away all the clutter that has hidden the truth for so long, strips away the various lies that surround the case, exposes the Air Force attempts at cover-up, and found a core of solid information that tells us all where the case stands today. Roswell in the 21st century will be available in just a few weeks. For more information, please visit my website at www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com.
What happened in Benghazi is revealed by Nicholas Genix, author of Obama, Islam, and Benghazi. He informs the American people that President Obama deceived them by advocating a strong foreign policy prior to the 2012 presidential election, and Hillary Clinton supported this deception. As the title infers, there is a connection between Obama, Islam, and Benghazi. Ample evidence informs Americans that Obama's early indoctrination in the Quran developed an affinity for Islam, why the Quran is the source of discontent in many countries, and why the Obama foreign policy deception led to poor military action and caused the loss of American lives in Benghazi. Genix provides 36 questions for the Select Committee on Benghazi to validate if Americans are justified to mistrust President Obama and Hillary Clinton. An overview of Obama, Islam, and Benghazi is presented on the website www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Afterlife expert Roberta Grimes was the first one to say that dying can be fun. Now her best-selling book, The Fun of Dying, is available in stores worldwide. So if you wonder whether death ends life, how it feels to die, or what heaven might be like, The Fun of Dying was written for you. And if you have always been afraid of death, or if you worry that your life has no meaning, let The Fun of Dying ease your fears and bring new meaning to your life. Nothing said in The Fun of Dying is based on the teachings of any religion. Instead, Roberta draws on evidence to explain how death happens, how it feels, and what comes next. A lot of the best death-related evidence was produced in the first half of the 20th century. When it is put together with recent discoveries, it tells a consistent and amazing story. Roberta Grimes blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Her wonderful book, The Fun of Dying, is available on Amazon and at stores worldwide wherever books are sold. Brian Bignall is our special guest, Exonation, www.brian-bagnall.com. He's the author of a new book that is coming out this May. It's entitled The New Constitution, a Manifesto to Fix Our Country. First of all, Brian, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Great having you with us. But I have to ask you a final question. What about Amtrak? Wasn't that supposed to be taken over by the government and everything was supposed to be made super-duper?
Yeah, that was in the 80s, and it was another, this textbook government bailout, and, they were bailing them out, and they were supposed to, be made stronger in a couple of years and be off on their own, and that never happened. They're still run by the government. I always like to ask people, what is one thing that the government does well?
Spend money.
Rob? Yeah, they don't do anything well, but we want to give them control of our health care. We want to, give them control of our Social Security, which isn't there anymore. Let's face it. Maybe a couple more years people will be able to collect from it, but, I'll never see it. They don't do anything well, but we just keep giving them more and more power without, checks or balances or anything.
I think that's because, Brian, we forget that the government is supposed to be for the people, by the people. And it's we the people, not I the person.
That's very true. Yeah, and and that's the thing. Back decades ago, it used to be able to support a household on one income. And you had, we sat down, we had family dinners, and somebody was home with the kids all the time, and now it's two people working their butts off, 12, 14, 16-hour days, 6, 7 days a week. I feel bad for people because it's almost, we don't have time to think about anything else. We don't have the energy to think about anything else.
You don't have time for yourself anymore. And do you remember the old saying, stop and smell the roses? Well, now if you stop and smell the roses, somebody's going to run you over.
Very true. Very true. And yeah, it's just a sad thing. And we don't look at each other anymore. We don't talk to each other. I love to have random conversations. I lived down south for about 3 years, southern United States, and people are a lot nicer down there than they are in the big city of Chicago. But it's few and far between. People don't want to talk to you anymore. It's just heads down, walking down the sidewalk, people honking at pulling cars, and it's sad.
And who would have ever thought 10 years ago that there would be so many drive-through fast food restaurants?
Oh, the food. That's you don't need to think any further of how nuts we are as a country or than food. We poison it, we put chemicals all over it, we sell it to one another, nothing's healthy anymore. We've genetically altered fruits and veggies, and that was the only good thing left, and they're genetically altering them, and it's just sad.
Hey, Brian, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a great hour chatting with you. If ever you want to chat again, let us know. We'd be more than glad to give you some good old Southern chat anytime, buddy.
Great. Thanks, Rob, for having me. I appreciate it.
Take care, Brian. Brian Bignall, Exonation, www.brian-bagnall, that's BAGNALL.com. He's the author of a book that's coming out in May of this year entitled The New Constitution, a Manifesto to Fix Our Country, and we wish him good luck with it. I'll be back on the other side of this news break as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network and on the X Zone Broadcast Network. Don't go away, gang.